Welcome back to the new professional StarCraft 2, where I'm always incredibly excited to introduce the People's Zerg in the bottom right in the red. From Canada, of course. It's Scarlett. With an interesting challenge, though. One of the most volatile Protoss in the world. An emotional roller coaster almost every time he plays. His builds sometimes look like a genius, but sometimes, well, whatever the opposite. It is, of course, aptly named Creator. Also, one of the most exciting players to watch, not just for the gameplay, but because he literally yells. Good or bad, just always very excited. Whether it's smashing headsets or disruptors into his opponent's armies. That, I honestly have no idea what to expect from Creator. There's only really one thing that I can expect from this match, and it's for me to awkwardly segue into begging for likes and subscribes. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you've had a good day. Jim, what are we at? What? 1,161 likes. Get 1,161 likes on this video, on this cast. I'll cast another series. And I'll probably do it anyways. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you've had a good day so far. Hopefully it's about to get a little bit better. I've been looking forward to looking at this match. And already seeing... It's an old build, but it checks out. Glaive Adepts, the 50 Shades with Glaives that Zest popularized, is no longer as prevalent, as there are some clear counters. But this is all, it's already 2 gates, going up to 6 gate Robo. And Scarlett just now starting a Roach one. She sees no Stargate. The lack of any Stargate units coming out right now is starting to become quite apparent, and that starts to narrow down the options. He's already got the Roachborn, building a few more Zerglings, and if no Oracles or anything come in, yeah, a safety spore maybe for DT defense. Yeah, at the front, definitely. Suspecting a Twilight. It's hard to tell exactly what flavor. A second spore in the mineral line of the third. Hedging her bets at the moment, and just building mass Zergling is definitely a good way to do so. As they will at least... Well, oh my god. Oh my... That's a lot. Already so many Adepts on the field chasing it down. Glaives completed. 8 Adepts so far. And that won't be the end of it. The War Prism is alongside it. 6 gates completed. Creator actually a little supply block, so he's going to have to wait for a pylon to complete to add more Adepts into the mix. But the numbers will grow rapidly. But the Roaches, thankfully for Scarlett, she anticipated this, already on the way. Queen assassinated, though. The Adepts just going to go towards the ramp, whatever choke point they could get. Not a particularly great area here for the Adepts to find, but the Zerglings struggling as the Adepts just eviscerating them with the resonating glaives. Adepts canceled. Have to split the forces, and right now it's very difficult to keep track of them. There's no speed on anything but the Lings, and the Lings are speedily being cut to pieces by the Adepts here. Nothing to kill. The War Prism, Scarlett down to 5 Queens, which sounds high, but when they're split between all these bases trying to get anything done. The War Prism being targeted. Braddock, take it down! The War Prism is taken out, and with it the lifeline to the attack. Scarlett, 8 drones, 9 drones, but she killed the Prism. That means there is an end in sight. The tunnel. Well, I guess seeing the light here, which is a lack. And Creator, in the most Protoss possible fashion, gets crushed and immediately builds a Dark Shrine. Creator is down 30 supply. You can't lose the Warp Prism. A Warp Prism, for all intents and purposes, might as well be a hero unit, as it is the reason that Scarlett was struggling, as the Adepts can always be warped in, potentially microed back, but as soon as the Warp Prism goes down, you can stop the attack. And there's nothing to stop the Zerglings now, as even 3 or 4 Adepts is not going to be enough. 6, on the other hand, maybe. The Dark Shrine is, like, it's one of those cliche things. It's so obvious that it becomes kind of mediocre. But because it's so obvious, again, it's rarely suspected. I feel like I just contradicted myself. What I'm trying to say is it's such a obvious choice when you're behind that it almost works because players don't expect it. Like, it's such a gamble to get DTs at this stage. They're so easily countered. There's already spores. But Scarlett is not building an Overseer, thus demonstrating my point. Much... I was gonna say more better. Much more better than I was, which is absolutely no suspicion of DTs. Just expecting another follow-up and maybe some sort of disruptor switch or something like that. But the DTs catching Scarlett entirely by surprise. Doesn't target fire the spore, though. That's kind of an important point. 8 drones down thus far. 9. Was there another set of adepts? Oh, not another. No, not my... Oh my god. The Zerglings are getting in the way. The Prism will be recalled out and very importantly outside of vision. But yeah, Scarlett caught by surprise by the DTs. Creator mishandling that a bit. I think likely could have gotten a lot more damage done with a little better target fire there. But Scarlett clearly scrambling to defend. But now she's got 9 overlords on the way. She's got 64 drones. She's got 4 bases done. And road speed as well as +1 ranged attack is finishing up. And that means, well, alongside Baneling speed, very likely going to be a swell of units here. Creator is out on the map, which is a bold move. What do we got here? Hallucinated Phoenix will spot... What is this buddy cop movie here? I got an Immortal and an Archon in a prism, like in a beat-up prism. That's a 1999 shuttle right there. Okay, great year. Great year. Okay, Brood War still going. Sorry, Grandpa, they're called warp prisms and they do so much more. Can you repair them, Sonny? Did we ever figure out that technology in 24 years? Not exactly. Sorry, I blacked out for a second. The Warp Prism trying to do whatever it can to keep Scarlett busy, but an Immortal and an Archon. Well, these are 3 of the strongest Protoss units, but quantity has a quality all of its own, and that's a lot of quality from Scarlett right here. Creator actually has more probes right now. No Robobay done, no disruptors. Going to be incredibly hard-pressed to survive this attack. The Warp Prism's on the way back, but here come the Banelings rolling in to start trying to juggle. The Immortals just go down. Shield battery overcharge. What shield battery? Banelings rolling in, obliterating the probes. And Scarlett. Game 1. A comfortable victory against Creators. Less than stellar all in. Just not enough there. Creator sticking with the old Protoss gun. I don't mind the bringing out the Glaive to Depths build in Game 1, putting that on the table. It did feel kind of like throwing darts at a wall, though. And Scarlett easily able to handle it. Alright, heading to Game 2. On Alcyone. Alcyone. That's... The beautiful but darker map with the weird mineral walls and the gold base. That is a bit longer-winded. Creator sending the probe out right off the bat, as is customary. Now, as the wheel turns, with Terrans now very commonly engineering bay blocking Protoss, the Protoss continuing to hatch block, or, well, probe block the expansion of the Zerg, and the Zerg being marginally annoyed by both of them as the cycle goes. We've established that as a Zerg player, you get 2 choices. Your third base or their natural. That's where you get to expand. Of course, you might be able to fudge the location a bit if it's on the other side of the map. Scarlett and Dark, both well-versed in proxy hatchery plays. But that's not what we're seeing here. Creator with his old school all-in, defended by some solid queen. Well, mostly the queen. The queens are the real MVPs, as they so often are. All right. I mean, who else are you going to rely?
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Probe goes down. Just... It's one of those little things that feels so good, so satisfying to get that probe so early on. Not like it's getting a bunch of extra information, but it's one less probe. And, you know they're upset about it. All right, every Protoss wants to go flirt with the mineral patches, marginally annoy your drones as you have to remicro them, but no, there will be none of that. Probe is dead, and it ain't coming back. Stargate. Creator returns to, something more resembling sanity. I think the Glaive Adepts have potential, but even if the Warp Prism didn't go down, Scarlett was building up a roach count to an extent that it was getting out of hand. Clearly, it was made a lot easier with the loss of the Warp Prism, but it's gonna be a Stargate game, at least to start. Stargate just offering way too many options, too much utility. It's so dynamic. It essentially, somewhat ironically, limits the options of Protoss to go for anything else. As if you don't go for the Oracles, or at least something from the Stargate early, you don't have any reliable scouting or way to take your third base without either gambling a bit or leaving yourself open to things like Mutas later on, assuming we don't have some sort of two-base all-in, which is the customary... Oh my god, not again! These drones have tasted Protoss blood, or whatever they have. Whatever plant-based... And they want more. Unfortunately, Creator with some decent micro will actually get 4 probe kills. Yeah. Not ideal. Scarlett actually only had 29 drones. This is the part of the game where Zerg usually suffers as the Oracles and Adepts poke and prod, and you try to minimize damage while denying an expansion. There is no Spore. Creator comes in. Ooh, mistargeting. Doesn't get anything there. Besides, some very angry Queen Needles. Make up for it a bit. Pronouncing words is hard, alright? Even if you have the best words, saying them is even more difficult. I didn't have a clever follow-up to that. But Scarlett, on the other hand, her follow-up is... if the Zerglings can delay the expansion. The Void Ray... A bit of a surprising choice, but helpful for taking out Overlords, and, of course, a reliable anti-Zergling option. It doesn't kill them particularly quick, but you don't have to rely on having energy on your fancy laser lamps, the Oracles, but instead can actually take out things like Overlords. Yep, gonna deny the Watchtower. Oracles coming back in towards the main. Slipping and sliding around. Queens. It's mostly for scouting info. Notably here, Scarlett, no lair tech yet. Up to 55 drones. And mining through the mineral wall. I mean, she wants to expand towards this right side of the map, now unlocked. As there's actually no way to get there on the ground. Until you mine through the mineral wall or take out some of these rocks. It's a very small... stipulation, but it's kind of an interesting idea. Scarlett just expands towards the other side. Not going to bother dealing with the Stargate units, as they could potentially delay it for quite a bit. Queen still creep spreading. Haven't had much opportunity in this series so far. Finally getting started. Oracles. Ooh, burning their way past. Burninating through the countryside. The Adepts shading in as well. 6 drones, 7 drones. That was a weak-ass recall. One of my most... It's up there on my pet peeves. It's a long list. But, like, I'd say if, hypothetically, there were 10 pet peeves, there's way more on my list, it'd be around 3 to 3.5. Recalling units that are obviously, one, not that important, and two, barely going to make it out, if at all. It's almost a reflex. Once you hit the button, well, it's gone. And it's on cooldown for almost 2 minutes, so... it's probably not going to be something that creates any issues for but at more intense stages of the game, it has definitely limited options of even the best Protoss players. Now this isn't, so we're just jamming into the little choke point at the watchtower here. These are actually vision blockers, which, if you force field perfectly and don't have high ground vision, or like an overlord or something. Oh my god, what is that hive tech? You potentially can block them off the vision, but that's very unlikely, I think, especially with all the creep tumors. So Scarlett, a little bit of a later layer, transitions immediately a sprint towards hive. Though the hive will be spotted by creator, very important. So, oh, and the stasis. Scarlett diffuses it. Trying to... There's no stasis there. But Scarlett actually backing off. I'm not sure what she saw. Another stasis towards the main creator with some zealots coming in. That War Prism already taking a lot of damage to the Spore. The Queen trying to run away. Scarlett comes back to defend. Is this an Ultralisk rush? I mean, Vipers are always good. Another base has been taken. Just having Vipers in general is never a bad idea. I want to believe, though. Honestly, not too many reasons not to go Ultras. It's clearly not Lurkers. There's no Hydralisk Den. Ultralisk? Okay. Calm down. Ultralisk Cavern, Adrenal Glands, all the goodies here. Scarlett, well, we'll see if Creator's able to figure it out. His Creator has 82 probes to Scarlett's 90 drones, so pretty comfortable economies on both sides. There's been relatively few losses. The drones have been suffering, but otherwise, actually taking down these rocks here as well. 58 Zerglings on the way. Ultralisk Cavern nearly complete. It has been spotted. So, Creator has an idea. The counter to Ultras is... He doesn't have to shift his composition too much, I'd say here. More Immortals. Maybe some Storms to help clear out. Archons are never bad. They got a bonus to biological, and newsflash, the entirety of Zerg, including their buildings, are biological. Massive stasis. Zones out the base and locks in a few dozen Zerglings. The Ultralisk Cavern, well, this could be a very quick Ultralisk rush. Well, that's one way to do it. Yeah, well, I guess you could just kill it with Zealots. Oh, and the Zerglings actually break out. Even without Adrenal Glands, still getting some damage, but the Ultralisk Cavern will be rebuilt, but that does take a lot of the strength. Without chitinous plating, without that extra armor, not nearly as important as it is against Terran to have that +2 armor, as Protoss units usually hit pretty hard. They just don't attack nearly as quickly. Of course, having extra armor is very helpful. I'd say ultra speed is probably actually more important against Protoss. But it is a hard choice for sure. As closing the distance, it does feel like the window is closing. Ultras are essentially an advanced lair tech unit. Oh, and with no Vipers here, well, the Ultras are trying to make their way through. Banelings rolling in. Fungal looking good so far. Colossi helping to zone out. The Ultras are stuck behind those stasis Zerglings. They might have had a diet upgrade, or at least, like, resizing, but still too thick in order to move past that perfectly stasis Zergling. Throws up the corrosive bows, but Creator takes a beautiful fight, and Scarlett is forced back. She's already lost so much. Rebuilding quickly here. 4 Ultras in production. I don't know. This is still a very good... Oh, another beautiful stasis from Creator. Baneling's rolling in, but Scarlett's army's starting to thin out, and Ultra pops out underneath here. War Prism manages to stay alive for the first time in Creator's career. And Ultra is obliterated by the Immortals as well. The Archon's helping out. Zerglings unleashed underneath the Colossi here, actually doing a lot of damage, almost killing a Colossus. But even with Chitinous Plating, I don't know how much better it would have done. The Ultra's just not finding it. Creator ties things up. A valiant attempt. But overall, vengeance for the probe. And I almost feel like that was a bit of a fan service build there. The people want Ultralisks. Unfortunately, the people are also known to prefer units that are mediocre in many scenarios. If Chitinous Plating was done, if she didn't have to rebuild the Ultra Cavern, but no, it didn't happen. Creator sniped it off. Great scouting throughout the game. We're all tied up 1-1 going to game 3 on Hecate. So they've both kind of attempted these off-center builds now. Creator with the Glaive Adept all-in game 1. Scarlett with the Ultralisk Rush. In game 2, neither finding success. Where do we go in game 3? Do we stick with something? So what would I say is the later game meta? Honestly, Protoss versus Zerg with the new patch is still a bit in flux. As for Protoss, you'll find with no plus. Okay, let me try again. Words are a real struggle today, apparently, which is, uniquely difficult for someone who's sitting here only saying words. But with +2 Banelings, no longer one-shotting probes, as I agree, having a unit that could just, even a single unit, obliterating a significant portion of probes or the economy with very little warning is definitely something that needed a look. So I think we should continue on that thought process of maybe having a unit that obliterates a significant portion of economy very quickly. At least maybe making a quick pass on that. But I digress. Enough about Minecraft. Okay, alright. Without the +2 Banelings undercutting the economy regularly, without Lurkers being quite as speedy, they no longer get the added benefit of movement speed with the Adaptive Talons upgrade. With Broodlords being kind of nerf buffed, as they are faster, but the Broodlings are much less oppressive. They can easily be killed, so essentially you just got to deal with the Broodlords themselves. You're no longer clearing out Broodlings for days. And alongside Protoss having slightly cheaper and quicker upgrades, and the Tempest being a little bit more useful, I'm barely including that. The Mothership, it does feel like the balance is tipped from the thin ice that Protoss was standing on to, you know what, something a little bit more stable. So I think it has been a success so far in what I've seen. Not just this match, but several now. And by several, I mean like double digits. I think Protoss versus Zerg is becoming a more dynamic and interesting matchup. With all that said, I think the meta is still Lurkers in the late game. It usually isn't trying to trap Adepts with your drones. Almost gets them, but they're able to slide away. And the 5 drone kills, down to 24 there for a moment. Creator gambling a lot with the Adepts, but still Stargate into Twilight. And then with Robo as a follow-up. Seen a lot more Oracles with Stasis Ward. I think the change to Stasis Ward to give it more vision. Up to 7 vision range, which is right around a normal ground unit. I think a little less. I said I would look this up at some point, but Jimmy did not provide the information. So, Stasis Ward plus the more stable mid-game has let Protoss kind of explore other unit composition, or at least stay on a ground army a little longer. Unfortunately, not enough ground army to defend the third base here for Creator. Alright, enough meandering around whatever point I was trying to make. PvZ pretty cool now. I'm gonna show a few more. Not a few. Oh my god. Wow. I'm sorry, guys. I truly don't know sometimes. Like, if I don't draw attention to it, do people even notice if I'm saying things weirdly? Or if I say it with a confident tone in the background, I could be talking about, like, the best way. You know, what my favorite food is? It's fried rice. Okay? There's nothing not to love. There's rice, there's fry. I could always, like, it's probably not very healthy. Like, the greasier, the better. Which is, you know, probably not great for you. And you usually regret it a little bit if you eat too much after. But I'm a big fan, generally. So, but you gotta everything in moderation is what I'll say. Of course, I'm just gonna eat however much is in front of me. But Void Race, burning through overlords inside of. Oh my God! Stop right there. Stasis Ward while the Void Race burning through an Ovi. Scarlett getting poked and prodded here. In Game 3, Creator seems to be getting more and more... Oh, I take it back! The Oracle shot down. Brenda's revenge! For the minor slights, but most annoying damage done so far. Creator has done all the little annoying things that Protoss do. Between the Stasis and the Void Ray and the actually committing with the Adepts. And now Scarlett on killing that Oracle. And getting another base. Is taking a fourth and building 12 more drones. Roach Warren is on the way. +1 melee. As well. Immortal. Twilight. Adept just shades through. Well, I guess it didn't have too many options. And what is the tally so far? 4 Adepts and an Oracle. Versus 9 drones, 9 Zerglings, a couple Overlords, so a surprisingly high tally for the relatively early. What is this? Is this an army? Is this This is like a exchange program here. Like, these guys are gonna come live with the Zerg to see how the. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure where are you going? What is this college admissions poster of Protoss units? You got 2 sentries, 2 adepts, a zealot in there. Charge is still pretty far off. I think it might have been a bit of select all army action. As that army really should have been at the 3rd, even though the Oracle's here. But yeah, that's a bit of an odd choice, and we'll allow Scarlett to, well, the probe's on the run. Looks like Oracle came in, got 4 more drone kills. And Scarlett's up to 80 drones, and counting here. That number may reach triple digits. It's been known to happen. Army just still wandering out. Charge is nearly done. Zergling's on the way back. Roach is on the way. Speed nearly completed as well. War Prism's here. Everybody, come on down. Creator's calling everything in, bringing it all together. The Avengers have assembled. And yeah, throw some force fields on there. Down goes the Oracle. Baneling's popping out right into the Adepts and the Zealots. Where did the Archons come from? Meanwhile, Zealot's down at the 3rd. Yeah, he has a Templar Archives. Scarlett's at 83 drones. She may have overdone it. This army. Force field on the ramp could be devastating, but Creator doesn't take the opportunity. Scarlett's got to get down the ramp, but she doesn't want to get trapped in against an army she can't beat. Guardian Shield is used instead. A Spore Crawler burrows. It may act, well, that's going to help against the Void. It's actually going to kill the Void Ray. Scarlett, 17 roaches in production, but they're strung out between the bases. A dozen drones down. Spore Crawler not quite in position to deal with the War Prism, but the roaches are sniping things off at the back. The hatchery may pop out. A bunch of broodlings could distract for a moment. No Ravagers on the way. Gonna pick up some of the Immortals, juggling back. Down goes the Archon. Another base. Scout has so many bases to fall back on. 20 drones down. 63 remain. Immortal, living up to its name for now, but the surround, the DPS of this army is just non-existent without it. What's happening back here? There's a Zealot. It finds some drones. It's just been wailing on the Roach one for a while. And Scarlett, well, definitely got a little greedy. And certainly got punished for it. But because she was so greedy, she's able to survive and still have a decent amount of production. And Creator ended up losing not a small amount. Scarlett clearly losing a lot more, but only in minerals. That was a lot of tech. Archons, Sentries, Oracles, all going down in that fight. So Creator is left with, well, how many robos? Only one robo, one Stargate, building just a few more gates here. So not really able to rebuild that army particularly quick, but Scarlett's still only at 145 supply. Baneling's on the way. Baneling speed is done. +1 melee, +1 ranged attack, but no other upgrades, indicating Scarlett really does want to do some counter damage here, but Creator has more supply. He's got more probes. He just needs to survive. And again, Creator, where are you going? What is this? The force fields are actually quite good, but the army just kind of wanders out again. Now is not the time for a field trip. I should have stayed home today. The Immortal count is so damn high. And there are 7 Immortals on the field, but Scarlett will put them to the test. The force field is also there. More force fields coming out. Banelings rolling through. Move command to absorb as much damage as possible. Shield battery overcharge. Just right clicks on the battery. Immortals going down. More Immortals trickling down. And knocking down the force field just as a matter of principle, it seems there. Meanwhile, on the other side, Oracle, what? Oracles are burning through. Down goes some more Immortals. Zerglings out in front. The Immortals are forced back. The Oracles would be very helpful at home right now, but Creator's run out of energy, and he didn't have enough to kill the hatchery. He's miscalculated. The Immortal juggling is still incredible, but another Immortal is going to be caught. Down in the red, but not quite dead. And the Immortals living up to their name indeed. He's already lost so many, but just 2 of them are enough to obliterate any roaches, especially if there aren't enough Zerglings. Scarlett has rebuilt her bases, but not her economy. She's down to 53. There must have been some drone kills on those Oracles as well. It's becoming desperate. As Creator has a production tech, he's got the entire tech shrubbery here. He's got a robo and the robo bay. He's got more gates. He's got +3. He's got blink already done. I don't even know he's got 4 stalkers on the field. He just doesn't have that much meat for his potatoes. As right now, the Gateway army is pretty lackluster. It's only 7 stuff. Well, actually, there's 13 charge left, but the Warp Prism with 2 Immortals, the Queens are chasing it down, and it's on the other side of the map, and Scarlett comes in towards the left. The Oracles do have some energy regenerated. There's no shield battery to overcharge. The probes already splitting away. The Banelings crashing into the Zealots. The Warp Prism on its way back, but the Oracle's adding so much damage here. Scarlett knows she needs to get something done, but is this it at the end of the day? More Banelings rolling by. And the trickle is dwindling of Scarlett's units here. She builds 10 more drones. Creator's up 141 to 95. It does not look good for the Canadian Zerg. 2 Colossi on the way. Creator finally, maybe, will keep it together. I love the, I don't even know how intentional some of these move outs are from Creator. Obviously he wants to move out, but the way he does it is quite haphazard. It's more like a bunch of people leaving a football game as opposed to any sort of orderly, militaristic fashion. Ravagers, Zerglings. What's up here? Proxy pylon, or maybe wants to, I doubt, try to expand. What are these stalkers doing? Poorly. The Warp Prism. What? Why? Where are your Immortals? What? No! Put them in. Where? What? They wanted to walk today. All right. They need to stretch their legs. Those little stubby Dragoon legs. Okay, they need a lot of stretching to support that turret. It's at this point, we do the obligatory, isn't the Immortal just a Dragoon with a turret strapped on top? And if we took the turret off, could it just be a Dragoon? Unfortunately, much like repairing their units, the Protoss lost the technology to take the turret off a long time ago. Or building doors. Hashtag gate. Okay, I'm not even gonna say it. But that recall could have been better. Well, I'm not sure why those stalkers were even out there. It kind of feels like Creator is he had a wide margin to potentially achieve victory. But Scarlett has bounced back in supply. She's crushed a lot of expensive units. And now has enough army to potentially crush another one from Not the Prism. Not the Prism. Oh no. At least one. I know there's another Prism on the field. I don't know if there were 2 War Prisms. Why are the stalkers out here, Creator? Oh my. Well, Creator clearly not watching. He's always on the other side. The corrosive biles rain down. And down go a couple Colossi, but the Immortals and Archons. A much more stalwart defense. But Zerglings, Zealots in another base, everything, everywhere, all of the time. More Zealots. Where are these Zealots going? Oh, hey, how you guys doing? Oh, hi, Bill. Hi, Bob. You angry? Oh, I'm so angry. How's your wife? Friar? Meanwhile, the Colossus dueling Mass Ravager, but it's cheating and has a War Prism to play with. Some more Zealots over to the right flank. Overlords hanging out, which is most of their entire career. Zealots try to take down the base. They may very well get it. It will cost all of them. And Creator does have the economy here. There's still a Colossus just tucked into that Prism. I feel like it's more like downloading a JPEG when you tuck a Colossus into a Prism. It's not like picking it up. It's like turning it into data and then unfurling it again. Can you make me without the long legs? No. All right, it's copy and pasting. That's the extent of our technical knowledge. What do you think warp gate is? Just holding Control V. Unless you rebound it. Scouting star. I think he's trying to blink stalkers in to absorb Baneling hits. But Scarlett is not going to let that happen. Meanwhile, the Oracles, but Shield Battery Overcharge holds the line. Yeah, this Creator is blinking stalkers in and trying to bait Banelings like they're Marines here. The Ursa deck has to look on during all of this. Stasis. Scarlett does not have a hive. Her upgrades are mediocre. Her unit composition is not ideal. The Banelings rolling in, but are melted by the thermal lances. And Scarlett is forced to tap out. 2-1. Creator takes it. In the emotional roller coaster of a series we are so used to seeing from him. A heartbreaker for Scarlett after such a confident and comfortable game 1. But at the end of the day, it's Creator who's going to be going home with that tasty fried right. No, actually moving on in the GSL. Even better. Wow, that was a lot. I love how Creator plays, but he plays like someone who's yelling at their keyboard. And it's an entertaining treat to watch, but it isn't so great for the blood pressure. Well, but hopefully you made it through and enjoyed. And hopefully I made your day a little bit better. If you got the means of motivation, it'd be awesome if you could check out Patreon, YouTube membership, all that bullshit. Otherwise, either way, like, subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Good luck, have fun. Stay chill.